Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Hey there, SCP fans. Today we are diving the hidden truth of SCP-777. It's unlike anything you've ever encountered. It embodies fear itself, a living nightmare that feeds on the anxieties of those nearby. Imagine a creature that morphs into the darkest thoughts of your mind. It thrives in shadows, lurking just out of sight, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Reports describe it as a shifting mass, sometimes resembling a familiar face, twisting into a grotesque form. Victims often report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, as if their worst fears are coming to life. This isn't just a story, it's a chilling reality for those who have crossed paths with SCP-777. What makes SCP-777 particularly alarming is its ability to manipulate emotions. It doesn't just haunt you, it knows you. It can sense your insecurities, amplifying them until they consume you. Survivors speak of inexplicable panic attacks and paranoia that linger long after the encounter. The Foundation works tirelessly to contain it, but the question remains, can fear ever truly be contained? As long as humans exist, so will SCP-777, lurking in the corners of our minds, ready to unleash terror at a moment's notice.
It's been a minute since we've looked in on the SCP Foundation, and this one is particularly scary because it's inside your head, and it plays on your fears.
As many of you will now no doubt know, this coming Wednesday, the 13th of November, in Washington, D.C., in the House Congressional Oversight and Accountability Committee subcommittee, there's going to be a special hearing into UAPs. It's entitled Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Exposing the Truth. And hot off the press, we now know that the witness list comprises not only Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet, but Lou Elizondo and journalist and commentator Michael Schellenberger, but also a new name, Michael Gold, a former NASA Associate Administrator, currently the Chief Growth Officer with Redwire Corporation. I wonder what he's got to say. So we're going to be doing a live Q&A on YouTube and X following the hearing at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And I look forward to answering as many of your questions as possible and providing, hopefully, insightful and excoriating responses. It promises to be a fascinating day in Congress. Washington, D.C. has an interesting new mood on the subject of UAP disclosure. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of this hearing.
At the time of this episode airing, Congress should be either in the midst of it or just winding down. But I will bring you an update on the next episode, which will be on Friday, November 15th. And I'm pretty excited to know what they're going to tell us, if anything.
Conspiracy fact number 18. A woman ran the USA. Well, before Kamala, before Hillary Clinton, there was Woodrow Wilson's wife. See, after Woodrow had suffered a stroke, she stepped in to take over the presidency and run the country.
Thank you, Mr. E. Now, I didn't know this. So effectively, she was running the executive branch of the United States, basically making her president. She just wasn't sworn in, so she kind of was already the first female president. So there's that.
The toy company accidentally printed, yes, an adult website on the back of those boxes. And I gotta be honest, somebody is probably waking up to a very angry email from their boss. Everyone's been waiting for this film to come out next week. The film's official website is wickedmovie.com. But if you go to the address listed on the packaging for the special edition dolls, you will be directed to a page that requires users to be 18 years or older to enter. Mattel said they are aware of the issue and they released a long statement. I'm just going to read part of it. They said, "We deeply regret this unfortunate error. We are taking immediate action to remedy this. Consumers who already have this product, you are advised to discard it. That packaging from Mattel. They are being sold at Target, Kohl's, Amazon. So if you bought one and you have not looked at the back of it, please go and do so before you hand it over to the kiddos." I genuinely think somebody left a couple words off because Wicked is in the website, and I'm going to leave it there, guys.
Somebody got in some big trouble for that. But if you have one of those dolls and it's unopened, I can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be a collector's item.
There's a wild update today in a missing persons case from August. 45-year-old husband and father Ryan Borgwart from Wisconsin was believed to have went missing during a kayaking trip After extensive searches, police turned up no sign of Ryan or his body, and it was presumed that he had likely died. Now today, police instead say that they believe he allegedly faked his own death and traveled to Europe to meet a woman he had met online. Investigators are looking into this scenario further and have said that they will bring charges if they do find, in fact, that Ryan had faked his own death. Meanwhile, while his wife had no comment due to the active investigation, some of his loved ones have said that they are imploring Ryan to contact his family as his children greatly miss him. It is rare for someone to fake their own. So there are some famous cases of it, including one that I can recall that was featured on Unsolved Mysteries and then solved thanks to coverage on the show.
And so this guy was chatting up some chick in Uzbekistan, I think. Don't quote me on the location. I think that's where she's from. But he just did a legger. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm done. The funny thing is, the report that I saw last night, the reporter was like pleading to the guy, saying that they wanted to get him back with his children. First of all, he left his children. He doesn't want to come back to them or his wife. And the second thing, they don't want to get him back to his children. They want to put his booty in jail because that's kind of illegal.
SCP-327, known as the Mermaid, is a dangerous aquatic entity resembling a hybrid of human and marine life. This creature exhibits a spiked, scaly tail and human-like upper body. But its most distinctive features are its hollow, coral-like protrusions and the eerie bioluminescence emitted from various parts of its body. SCP-327 possesses a unique and lethal ability.
So demon mermaids. Got it. Yeah, demon mermaids. Just another thing in the ocean that wants to eat you.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is calling for an investigation into FEMA after alleged FEMA volunteers told the publication The Daily Wire they were instructed by the agency to skip Trump supporters' homes when serving damage in Highlands County after Hurricane Milton. According to internal text messages reviewed by the publication, workers in Lake Placid avoided around 20 homes, quote, advertising Trump. Governor DeSantis took to X, saying the Florida Division of Emergency Management would be investigating the incident, and the House Committee of Homeland Security also said it would be investigating. Dozens of GOP lawmakers across the state, including Senator Rick Scott and Representatives Anna Paulina Lunar and Matt Gaetz, have all weighed in. We've reached out to FEMA, and we're still waiting to hear back, and as soon as we get that information, we'll pass it along to you.
So during this whole thing, I was a little critical of people taking jabs at FEMA, like, hey, they're just trying to do their job the best that they can, and it's a terrible situation. And now I'm like, what the actual F? Because those are people. Whether they agree with you politically or not, they're still people, and it's your job as a FEMA representative to help those people. So I take back any of my criticism. Okay, maybe not all of my criticism of FEMA. But for this, come on, people.
Real photo of alien human breed. This is an Area 51 photo that was never released to the public. This is only on the dark web 1950s.
While I have no doubt that there is definitely some alien-human hybriding going on, I don't know if that picture was authentic. I want it to be. Like, I really want it to be because I'm messed up in the head like that when it comes to aliens. I'm all about it. But I don't know.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the 20%, the top 20% of the CIA, especially at the highest levels, they're malignant narcissists. They do not care about human life. Now, the 80% below, there's a lot of good, patriotic, America-loving people just doing their job.
I couldn't even imagine being that kind of person where you're like, just don't care about human life. But at the same time, I understand how that may be a necessity because of the things that the CIA does, which is sketchy a lot of the time. So you gotta have those people on the payroll.
This woman is about to become the first person to marry a hologram. Alicia Framus plans to marry an AI-powered avatar named AI Lex, maybe Alex is how they're going to pronounce it, this summer on the rooftop terrace of an art museum in the Netherlands. What a beautiful venue. She says that she's going to use this marriage to explore the complexity of relationships and the impact AI could have on emotions. She has been studying loneliness and emotions and how AI is going to play into that since 1995. Take a look at this video where she is having a full-on conversation about their dinner meal together with this hologram.
Do you want to age, to become older, or you want to stay always the same?
I think for you will be nicer when I age. Because it's nice to age together.
Ramus believes that AI can be a great option for people who are lonely and need companionship. She even explored this idea by living with a mannequin named Pierre in a French apartment. Ramus is an artist that uses her art to try to help people feel connected and decrease loneliness. And this experiment of her marrying a hologram is by far her biggest experiment. This project that she's doing is called The Hybrid Couple, and that's actually the name of her Instagram if you want to go watch some of her reels as well. Marrying a hologram obviously opens up this very interesting can of worms to see if, like, are a lot of people going to do this? Is this going to become a real thing? So you guys let me know your opinion below.
That's a very peculiar take on art, but there are no bounds for art. I don't know that it's necessary to marry the thing, right? But I mean, to each his own, especially when it comes to art. But I don't see how it's going to create any kind of connectivity. I mean, for one person, yes, but it has great potential of removing that person from society, which would be devastating, especially if a lot of people were doing it.
Well, if you saw the news today, then you know Jamal Simmons, who is Harris' former communications director. He's proposing that Biden step down as president in the final weeks of office to make Kamala the 47th president and the first female president of the U.S. Jamal said that Biden could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala president of the U.S. He could absolve her from having to oversee the January 6th transition of her own defeat. He said it would not only relieve the next woman who runs from the historical weight of being the first female president. I believe that's an aspiration, not something to dread, but also conveniently disrupt some of President Trump's merchandise, which says 45 and 47 in reference to him being the 45th and 47th president. So clearly this is an everyone should get a participation award type mentality. This would put someone as president who was never nominated to run for president in the first place, nor earned the votes needed to become president.
When I saw that interview with that campaign fella, a lot of things blew through my mind. I said that. I said that right after Trump won the presidency. I said, well, he could step down and make Kamala president and then, mission accomplished. Another thing, we just discussed that Kamala wouldn't be the first female president. But she already was president when Biden had his colonoscopy. Now, the most petty thing of all of this is to disrupt Trump's merch, his 45-47 merch. That's crazy. That is so petty. Now, this train of thought is making waves. It's all over the place. And if you'll remember when Biden and Trump had their first debate, how wonderfully that went, there was a lot of talk about Biden dropping out, and he did. And if this keeps circling, do you think that Biden would actually step down to give her this participation trophy?
$10 million for Beyonce to step up and back Kamala Harris publicly. $5 million for Megan Thee Stallion. $3 million for Lizzo. $1.8 million for Eminem. I mean, is that normally how it goes? You spend $20 million, you get yourself in debt to try to get a bunch of rich celebrities on stage? I'd never seen that. Maybe I'm ignorant of the fact, but wow.
I would like to see the breakdown of Trump's expenditures. I tried looking it up and I can't find it. It's not as readily available as Kamala's massive blowout. I know he only spent like 380 some odd million, but I want to see where he spent his money. If anybody knows where I could find that, shoot me a quick comment, give me a link or whatever you got. I'd love to see it.
Think modern problems need modern solutions? Think again. In the Victorian era, the vibrator was invented as a bizarre cure for what doctors called hysteria in women. Medical practitioners of the time believed that hysteria was a legitimate medical condition, causing anxiety, insomnia, and irritability. The wild part? Doctors treated this by manually massaging the female patients to the point of orgasm, which was thought to release hysterical energy. This was labor-intensive for the doctors, so they eventually invented the vibrator to automate the process. Known as pelvic massage, these devices were early electric vibrators, making the treatment quicker and more efficient.
SCP-049, also known as the Plague Doctor, is a humanoid creature that appears to be wearing a black robe and a traditional Plague Doctor mask. The creature's anomalous properties include the ability to cause organic matter to undergo rapid necrosis, resulting in the decomposition of the affected tissue. This effect is particularly potent when SCP-049 comes into contact with living organisms, which it then proceeds to reanimate as undead beings, commonly referred to as SCP-049-2 instances. SCP-049's behavior is generally calm and collected, with the creature showing a great deal of interest in the study of anatomy and medicine. The creature is also known to express a desire to cure the ailments of those it encounters, often leading to deadly consequences.
So basically, it's a zombie maker. All right. That's not terrifying at all.
Controversy in the classroom. A high school teacher in Moreno Valley is on leave after his response to the presidential election results. And as KCAL's Joy Benedict reports, some students feel like the teacher took it too far.
I'm so sorry, guys. You deserve better. Look at me. You deserve better.
It's an audio recording catching many off guard, taken from a classroom inside this Moreno Valley high school the morning after the election, about Donald Trump.
Let me tell you, I know a lot of Latino men on this campus, adults and students, that love Donald Trump. And he's called their mothers rapists. He's called their fathers rapists. He's called them criminals. He called them the poison in the blood of our country.
He just kept talking about it. He was saying that Trump is racist, Trump is what else? Treasonous.
Alec Colon was in his first period world history class that day.
I like him, he's a good teacher.
But he admits he went too far.
He shouldn't be talking to kids about politics.
A sentiment echoed by other students who have since heard the recording posted online.
My father always told me if you're going to say something, it's all about the tone and the way you deliver your message. And the way he did it was very unprofessional, it was very inappropriate for his students.
Noah Neary is also in 10th grade.
The way he was speaking his opinion to his students, it was as if he's pushing his agenda towards them, you know, and it wasn't right. That's not what you're supposed to do as a teacher.
The school district sent out a letter to parents saying, in part, we were recently made aware of an incident at one of our high schools in which a staff member's discussion about the election results turned unprofessional. It went on to say the teacher is now on administrative leave, and that has young people fighting back, starting a Change.org petition asking to bring him back and asking for equal punishment for all teachers, no matter their political background.
Is our country racist? Yes. Is our country patriarchal? Yes. Can we change it? Maybe.
His personal opinion to save it to himself.
As for what happens now, students we spoke with say they hope he does come back. They also hope he just tones it down.
I agree that there is no place for personal politics in school. But that brings me to this particular point. That school is in California. That school also has the right to not tell the parents of children who are requesting to be called a different gender. So, where are we going to find some lines here? They're putting teachers on administrative leave for expressing their opinion. However, when they are endangering the lives of a child, that's completely okay. California is a disaster.
Conflict on the Korean Peninsula is now spilling into the war in Ukraine. South Korean military leaders say they're now considering sending weapons to Ukraine, while North Korea appears to already be sending troops to Russia. Alex Hogan is reporting that all of this comes as the United States is issuing new warnings of their own to Moscow.
As the war grinds on, Ukraine's military intelligence says the first North Korean units trained in Russia have been deployed to the Kursk region, where Ukrainian troops launched a ground offensive in August. Overnight, South Korea's president indicated he's now considering sending weapons to Kyiv to help fend off the new Russian-North Korean partnership.
North Korea's troop dispatch to Russia is a provocation that gravely threatens security of not only the Korean Peninsula and Europe, but also the whole world.
It would mark a break in the South's long-standing policy of not supplying weapons to countries involved in an active combat. Russian officials are now threatening to respond if Seoul gets involved.
We here in the United States have just selected our next president, so it seems perfectly fitting that tensions start rising in other places. There's always something big going on when we have a transition between presidents, and it's getting old. Hopefully things de-escalate. But speaking of those escalations, something interesting happened in the Ukraine. The North Korean troops tried to do a little, we're going to go in there stuff, and it didn't work out so well for them. I'm going to do a mini plug because I'm going to stop doing the shameless plug. Unfortunately, the last person I plugged, right after I talked about them, they made their stuff unshareable. So I'm not going to be able to show you any more Genius Fiction stuff, but still, go to Genius Fiction on TikTok and check them out. It's brilliant. But I'm going to do a little plug for this guy. This is reporting from Ukraine on YouTube. I'm not going to share the clip, but if you want to check it out, I'm going to leave you a link in the description and I'll pin one in the comments. And a couple days ago, he posted something fantastic. Just go check it out.
I ate too many gummies and got lost in the internet. Check this out. Why does cranberry juice taste like it doesn't want to be wet? If people evolved from monkeys, then why do we still have monkeys? There are only 2 days in your entire lifetime that will not have 24 hours in it. Your nipples are older than your teeth. If you kill a murderer, the number of murders in the world does not decrease. If a fly loses its wings, do you now call it a walk? During a nuclear explosion, there is a radius where all the frozen pizzas around them are cooked to perfection. You have never watched a full movie in your entire life because you're always blinking. Someone's mom has used you as a bad example to yell at her kids. Wedding rings are the do not disturb signs of the dating world. Posting about a newborn baby's length and weight make childbirth very similar to fishing. There are kitty cats in this world that understand more Japanese than you do. Your whole life is spent gathering people that are going to come to your funeral. If the earth is flat, then maybe dinosaurs live on the other side, and we just keep digging up their loved ones.
All of those things are absolutely hilarious. I hope you enjoyed the levity, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come on back in a couple of days. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day. Really? I don't think so. I mean, gotta work. That looks a little suspicious. I mean, I do believe that they're definitely doing alien hybrid experimentations, but more work. Excuse me while I do my job.